everyone, I'm China. Thank you for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to be setting up my new A6 Stalogy for 2024. I just finished the last page in my old notebook, and I'm really excited to set up a new one and start collecting some new memories and journaling and all of the fun stuff. If you're new to my channel, I do have a flip through of most of this notebook available. This is essentially my brain on paper. I journal in here. I work out projects or experiments that I'm doing. Anything goes in here, daily spreads, content. I really just enjoyed using this for whatever I need at the moment, which is a joy of using a blank notebook. So this is my new one. We are saying goodbye to the old and in with the new. And at the end of last year, I started to set up my notebook and really confine what I put in it. I had set up like an index and a key and was trying to limit the material that was going into my notebook to make it more like a commonplace book with just like things that I heard from podcasts or things that I read or projects that I was working on, but that really took some of the fun out of what this notebook was for me. So we're going back to basics. I'm going to be setting up just a few spreads for the year and then also set up 1 or 2 spreads for February. But other than that, I'll be using this notebook for journaling, dailies, a creative outlet, anything I need, and just try not to confine myself so much to what I think should be in this notebook and just let it grow into whatever it's going to be. So I am trying to use up stickers and things from my stash. So I have some leftover vellum from my common planner setup that I'm going to use. And then I have some random sticker sheets from A6 Stalogy and some florals from the Happy Planner and some quotes. So I don't have much of a plan, but we'll just see where my brain takes me. Let's get started. I'm going to start out by adding this vellum into my notebook. You're going to see that there's some writing already or stickers in the notebook, and that's from a failed bullet journal attempt in 2023, but I only used like 3 or 4 pages, so most of the notebook is blank. So I'm going to use this piece of vellum from Sterling Ink to make a divider between anything that I wrote in 2023 from anything that I write in 2024. So I'm just going to add some clear Scotch tape to the edge of one side of the vellum and make sure that there's a little overlap that I'm going to fold back. And then I just use a like old gift card. You can use a credit card, you can use a washi cutter to press in the vellum into between those 2 pages, and then there you go. I'm going to flip it to make sure that it's in correctly, and I'm going to move on to my next spread. So what I'm working on that left page is my grid spacing spread. And this is just nice to have as a reference for when I want to make some spreads in the future. So I'm going to put down that there's 26 spaces going down vertically and then 19 spaces going across horizontally. And some people like to divide the page up into half or thirds, but I just like to put what I need for the spreads that I like to make. So right now I'm putting a little line first 5 spaces going down vertically, and then I'll put 7 spaces going across horizontally, and that's because I like to do a monthly spread for each month in my notebook that starts 5 spaces down and 7 inside. And lastly, to wrap up the spread, I'm just going to write grid spacing with a Tombow brush pen. I believe the color is N95 or N75, and it's a light gray. So I'm going to go over that twice just to make it a little darker. And it's going to be a very simple spread here, but this is really functional for me, and I like to have this in the beginning of my notebook to reference throughout the year. I'm going to finish off by adding some black and white grid washi just to add a little bit of interest to the page. Moving on to the next spread in my Stalogy will be a very simple title page for 2024. I had these leftover date stickers from the Happy Planner memory keeping dates and holidays sticker book, and I took the 20 and 24 and put them together to make 2024. For anyone who doesn't want to write it, that's a little trick that you can use. And I had some leftover florals from the Happy Planner Floral Mega Sticker Book, and I thought it would be nice to put florals in the corner of in the four corners of the page, and then make a little frame around the 2024 that's in the middle. And now that I have my florals down, I'm going to go in with a ruler and draw a line connecting the four corners with the florals in them for, I think, a very nice and simple but interesting cover page. And my word of the year is simplicity. I put this in the beginning of my common planner. I have a flip through of that on my channel as well. And I thought it would be nice to just have a reminder in this notebook as well, that as I'm going through my day or doing projects or anything, to just do that with simplicity in mind. So I just hand lettered that here in a little bit of a script font, and we will move on to our next spread. So this spread is going to be 2 pages for an index. I'm going to draw a line about 4 spaces in, which is where I'll put the page number, and then I will put on the other side the contents. And while I did try to have, I guess, a more organized notebook in December 2023, I made a key and I had an index and I was numbering the pages and just being very methodical with how I was logging entries into the notebook. That wasn't very enjoyable for me, but I do want to make sure that I have a system in place to easily reference things that I'd like to flip back to in the future. So this can be maybe important dates, or I have some big plans that I'm making and projects that I want to work through. And I think an index will allow me to reference some important entries that I make without being so restrictive over what I put in the notebook. So I wanted to stick with the floral theme that I had on the previous spread. So I'm putting those black florals in the corners of the pages, and then I'm going to go in again with my ruler and connect those as well. And right now I'm just adding a title. I'm using a Tombow Furunosuke hard tip brush pen to write index. And I might not need 2 pages. We'll see how this goes, but I did want to have the option to have space if I wanted to record anything here. And so I hope everyone is having a good start to 2024. I know everyone's been saying that January has been forever long. I have a contrary opinion. I feel like it's flying by, and sometimes I wish I had a little bit more time, but so far, so good on the year. Would love to hear how everyone's doing with their planner lineups. Are we making any changes? We've had a month in our planners and our notebooks, so I think we know a little bit now how things are working out for us. So I'm all finished with my index, and those are going to be the only 2 spreads that I put together that are specific for the entire year. I'm going to use the next 2 pages to set up for the month of February. I am putting this together at the end of January. It's actually January 30th. But I wanted to wait until I finished my other Stalogy before I started my new one. So this one will start in February. So I have these florals. They're from the Happy Planner. I don't remember which sticker book they're from. I did a major destash at the end of last year and pulled out pages that I wanted from various sticker books and donated the rest. But I thought these purple florals were really beautiful, and I wanted to have them on the corners of my pages for the month of February. Purple is my favorite color, so I'm excited to have these to look at in my notebook. And I did have a bit of a difficult time, I guess, kind of trimming the edges. You'll see that like I definitely botched the corners on some of these, but that's okay. I know we're used to seeing a lot of like perfect notebook setups, bullet journal setups, but if you're watching this channel, there's not a lot of perfection here, but that's okay. Still serves a purpose. So I have this sticker. This is actually from like a budgeting expansion pack from the Happy Planner that had the months of the year. So I put February down, and then this is a doll from A6 Stalogy, and I thought she went really well, that like olive green with the florals here. And then I'm going to add a quote onto the left side that says just keep growing, which is kind of my motto for the year. I just celebrated my 36th birthday, and I'm still growing. It doesn't matter how much you age, how many years you celebrate, there's always opportunity for growth. So I think that's a great quote to have. And then I'm using the same type of border that I did around the edges connecting the flowers like I did on the other pages. So I'm really happy with this spread, and now we'll go on to the last spread for today's video, and the last one for the February setup. I'm going to do a monthly calendar, and this will be my YouTube schedule. I don't post a lot, but I do like to kind of map out when I film a video, when I edit, when I record, stuff like that. And having a calendar dedicated to that really helps me visualize how this hobby of mine fits into my full-time job and other responsibilities that I have. So that's kind of where I use the information from my grid spacing spread. I like to start the spread 5 boxes from the top and then 7 boxes in from the left side, and then each day is a 4 squares down by 4 squares across, so 4 by 4. I was at work the other day and someone saw my notebook and they were like, you know that you can just buy one like this already, you don't have to draw it. And that's true, but I actually really like drawing these little calendars. The setup was really nice to do. I was listening to a podcast and just relaxing, and it's been a while since I had set up a notebook like this, so it was a lot of fun. And I did draw the line a little bit too far down, but that's fine. I just covered it up with a little bit of whiteout. And I'm using this 0.38 Muji pen. That's what I've been using to draw all of the lines on my spread. And I'm just going to put the abbreviated days of the week at the top. I am a Monday start girly. And then I'm going to write February in the side on that margin that I have there. And this is a Tombow brush pen in color 603. And I always like to outline my letters that I do, especially when I use a highlighter or a Tombow, just to make the letters pop a little bit. So I'm going through and doing that for the month of February. And I'm just titling now with YouTube schedule. And sometimes I do add other things here, especially if they pertain to how much free time that I'm going to have to be able to put content out. And the last touches that I'm going to put on this spread is some more of those black florals just to tie everything in together and have a cohesive theme across all of the spreads that I did today. And lastly, I am going to add the dates in, and that will wrap up this calendar spread. So now I'm just going to do a little flip through of everything we put together today. I have my grid spacing and my vellum with my title page for 2024, a 2-page index spread, February title spread and quote, and then my YouTube schedule. Thank you so much again for joining me today. I will see you in my next one.